Hey guys, here's my current Twinblast deck, which I've been having great success with so far. The deck has a huge amount of damage and by late game you should be absolutely melting the enemy team you come across. So onto the deck. First up I've got my prime card, which is the Warlord. This will give your minions more damage against the other enemy minions, which will help you push to the enemy tower while you have the Orb Prime buff active on you. You could switch this with the Archmagus card instead, but I just prefer the Warlord over it. Consumables are the Bump Juice. This will give you an instant health potion for when you need it, or you could use the health potion if you don't have it. The health potion does give a little bit more health, but it isn't an instant heal, so it's up to you to decide if you want it. Next up is the Madstone Gem. This is just the equivalent of equipping 2 strike tokens or cast tokens, so you can use them if you don't have it. Brand of the Iron Eater with 3 2-cost wound upgrades after that. This will bump up your crit chance and give you a slight amount of lifesteal as well. An Impact Hammer filled with 3 major casts or major strikes for extra damage. A Micro Nuke again filled with 3 2-cost wounds for more crit chance. A Windcarver Blade with 3 minor strikes or minor casts depending on how many 1-point cards you have. And another Windcarver Blade again, but this time with 2 major strikes and a major kinetic in there. I've got a brutal kinetic, but it doesn't really matter, it's just the same as a major. And finally, the Blast Harness upgraded with 3 2-cost kinetic cards. This will give you the final 100% crit bonus, which will just make your crits do 100% more damage. So that's the full basic deck. As you can see, we've only used 27 of the 40 cards, so I would suggest you go back and add all the 1-cost strike tokens and cast tokens as well. This should give you a slight boost in damage. Whenever you're back at base, if you're sitting on 1 or 2 points, you should buy these 1-cost cast tokens or strike tokens. This will give you an advantage over someone who hasn't spent any of them points. I'll explain what I mean in the next part with the buy order. If you'd prefer to have a ward in the deck, you can just replace the Impact Hammer with either the Guardian's Ward or the Sage Ward. You do lose about 8% crit chance though, so it's your choice if you feel playing safer with or without it. During the start you'll want to spend your first 3 points buying the Bump Juice and the Madstone Gem, or if you've not got the Madstone Gem then get 2 strikes or cast tokens. Next up you'll buy the first Windcarver Blade with the 3 minor strikes. If at any point in the game you're left with 1 or 2 points with nothing to buy or upgrade, that is when you should buy the strike or cast tokens I mentioned earlier. After that you could buy the second Windcarver Blade or the Impact Hammer. You can also discard the strike or cast tokens if you need the extra points to buy them. Back at base for the third card you can buy the Impact Hammer or the Windcarver Blade next, depending on what you got second. In my case I get the Impact Hammer, and this gives us a lot of power cards that we need for our damage, so we'll want to start building into our crit chance next. Your fourth card will either be the Brand of the Iron Eater or the Micro Nuke. It just depends if you feel you need the lifesteal to keep you going for sustain, or the Micro Nuke will give you more damage obviously. For the fifth card it really depends on how well you've farmed in the game. If you've done really well then usually the Blast Harness will be your best buy, as it should give the biggest boost to your damage, especially with the 100% bonus on the crits, so I'd probably go for that if you can. And finally there'll be the last card, whatever you've got left. In my case I just buy the Micro Nuke, and that leaves us with a final build. And last bit of advice is try to keep behind your teammates and let them soak up the damage as you're very squishy. Thanks for watching, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.